Okay, so I'm making my cigar box guitar, and as the name would imply, they're normally made out of cigar boxes. I had the top panel of mine custom printed that I designed to look like a wanted poster of a famous relative of mine, and I've already notched it where the neck is going to go in. And I found this knob that looks like a revolver cylinder, but it's so tall that I'm going to cut a hole in this and drop it down in a little bit. So I have my sound hole cover that I'll put here, and then I have another sound hole cover here that I'm going to drop the knob down into so that it's not sticking out quite as far. So I stained the box, and now I'm gonna sand it a little bit to give it kind of an older, distressed look. I also put these pieces of wood in the corners to give it a little bit more bracing, so when I put the strings on and it's pulling on it, it'll give it a little more strength. So I measure the neck width and depth that it's gonna go in the box, and I'm gonna measure here now on both sides, because it's going to have the neck go through the whole body, and so I got to cut the same notch on both sides for the neck to fit in. Okay, I've got the notches cut out, so now I'm just going to file it down to make it a little bit smoother. And it's raining, so I'm going to move this aside. I've also added these pieces of wood here to screw the neck into, so that the neck will lie flat on here, and I've given it a little bit of room so that when the neck is on here, there's just the tiniest little gap to give it some resonance, so that it's not just right up on the neck. My coping saw broke, so I just had to use a loose hacksaw blade to cut the gap between the neck and the top board. I used a Shinto saw rasp to shape the neck. It's got a coarse side and a fine side. It works really well for rounding the neck to make it a little more comfortable in your hand when you're playing. I used a gun stock oil to just add a nice natural looking finish to the neck. I did a few coats and let it dry for about 12 hours in between each coat, and that worked really well. Then I added the machine heads. It's only a 3-string guitar, so you only need 3 machine heads. I just wanted to point out that the drill is the only power tool that I used. Everything else I did with just hand tools. So you don't need any kind of fancy power tools to do a project like this. You can just do it with basic hand tools. Okay, so now I've attached the neck to the body, and now I basically just need to mount the top soundboard onto here. But to electrify it, I've wired this 1/4-inch jack on the bottom to go to an amp. I have this piezo pickup that's inside a piece of cork to kind of deaden the high frequencies, and I'm going to mount that under the kind of bass string area over here to pick up the lower frequencies a little bit better. And then I have the volume knob where I'm going to put the cylinder that I had, the revolver cylinder. I'm gonna mount that here, and when this goes on, it'll kind of stick through like that. And then I'll just, once everything's wired up, I'm just gonna put some decorative hardware on it, and then we'll see how it sounds. Okay, I've glued the top board on, so now I'm just adding decorative parts like these little corners that I'm going to screw in, and then this will kind of go on the back of the neck there, just as decorative. I finished putting on all the decorative hardware. I added this little neck brace to keep the neck from bowing forward, and now I'm just going to string it up. The fretboard is a 25-inch scale, meaning that the bridge should be 25 inches from the nut, so I've measured that out, and now I'm just going to string the strings through and tune it. It's a 3-string guitar, so the tuning is a G, D, G, so that it makes a bar chord. When you just bar your finger across, it makes a chord. And we'll see how that sounds after I get it strung up. I got this ammo belt bandolier, and I'm gonna try it out acoustically, see how it sounds, and then I'll plug it in and try it out electric and see how it sounds. Getting a little bit of a buzz on the lower frets. Might put a little string retainer up here to change the break angle a little bit and hopefully get rid of that buzz, but it's sounding pretty good. See how it sounds electric. So I got these string retainer screws to do a better angle on that, and then I got these foot percussion things, and I'm just going to try playing and doing that at the same time. So here it goes.